Hi, it's Christy at the Burgundy Basket, and this is a quick video tutorial on how I make a water bottle carrier from my leftover Karen cake yarns. This is one of my most popular pins and Etsy items for custom order. So I wanted to do this really quick because it's an easy pattern, but I think it's kind of complicated when you write it down. So we're going to start at the bottom and we're going to work our way up, and I'm going to tell you how to modify this for different size bottles. So this is the size that I make for regular water bottles. This will hold the small ones and it'll hold the medium sized ones. Like this one is the 1 liter bottle because the yarn, as you know, is very forgiving and it'll stretch and accommodate different sizes. So one thing you're going to do is you're going to start with your eye hook. And I use leftover cake yarns from projects that I'm done with because I like the color change that it gives. And this is just a little bit of leftover Karen Big Cake in the color Toffee Brickle. So I'm going to start with my eye hook, my Toffee Brickle, and we're going to chain 2. And the beginning is really simple. We're just going to be crocheting in the round a simple circle of 6 single crochets. And if you know how to crochet in the round, you won't have any trouble with this. But chain 2 and then put 6 single crochets in that second chain from the hook. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I like to work over my starting tail and then pull it tight at the end of round 2 to make a nice tight circle in the beginning. So now you're going to make 2 single crochets in each stitch around for a total of 12 single crochets. And if you notice, I didn't slip stitch in chain 1. I just continued to work. That's called continuous spiral. I don't chain 1 and join because that'll make a little gap in your work. You can see a seam. So this is 8, 9, and my tail's kind of short now, so I'm going to go ahead and give that a little tug. And it closed up that hole in the middle. This is 10. And 11 and 12. And now I like to snip off that little tail before I continue. There we go. Now this next round is going to be 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, all the way around for a total of 18. And I'm not going to make you watch me do all of those. I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to pick back up when we get back around. All right, here we are at the end of round 3. We have 18 single crochets in our circle. And now this next round, round 4, is going to be single crochet, 2 single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, 2 single crochet. And you'll do that all the way around. When you get to the end of round 4, you're going to have 24 single crochets in your circle. And this is 4. And like I said, single crochet, and then single crochet, and then 2 single crochet, and that was 8. And I'm going to keep on going to the end of this round, and I'll stop the video here and pick back up there. All right, so here we are at the end of round 4 with 24 single crochets in our circle, and see how the cake yarns just make this nice color change. And so round 5 is going to be a single crochet, a single crochet, a single crochet, 2 single crochet, a single crochet, a single crochet, a single crochet, and 2 single crochet. So that at the end of round 5, you'll have 30 single crochets. Now I don't use stitch markers because I've made so many circles now. It's just a second nature to me. I can make a circle without counting or anything. But I suggest that you do use a stitch marker if you're new to crocheting in the round, and that will mark the beginning and the ends of your round so that you'll know when you are on round 2, 3, 4, etc. so that you don't lose count. So I'm going to keep on going and I'll meet you back up at the end of this round. All right, so here we are at the end of round 5 and we have 30 single crochets. Now if you know that this is not going to be big enough for your water bottle, and you can test that too by just taking that and you're setting your bottle on top of it. Now remember that this is going to expand a little bit. So even though this bottle is a little bit bigger than my circle, it still fits in here at the end. So unless you have a really large bottle, this will probably be big enough for you. Now in this round, on round 6, we're going to be going in that back loop only. You can see here in crochet you have a front loop and then you have a back loop. You have a front loop and then you have a back loop. And we're only going to be going under that back loop right there. See that? And we're going to be doing, on this round, we're going to be doing a single crochet round in the back loop only. So you'll have 30 single crochets in that back loop when you get done. And you'll see it'll form a nice little ridge here. And what that does is it just helps that work fold back into your bottle carrier when you're done. And I'll complete my 30 and meet you back up. All right, here we are at the end of round 6. And I've got 30 single crochets in my back loop only. And now I'm back to the beginning. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to slip stitch into the first stitch there, pull that through. So now we're going to chain up 3 because we're going to start a double crochet round. And now that counts, that chain 3 counts as a double crochet. If you don't like doing that, you can also just chain 2 and then put a double crochet back into that space. That's perfectly fine too. But now we're just going to double crochet all the way around. So when you get back to the beginning, you should have 30 double crochets with that chain 3 counting as a double crochet. So I'm going to do my 30 double crochets around and then I'll meet you back up at the end. All right, I've just finished that double crochet round and now I'm back to the beginning and I'm going to be slip stitching back to the top of this chain 3 right here. So if you see in the front, there's 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to slip stitch right back into the top of that chain 3 to start my next round. And so we're going to chain up 3 again. Like I said, 2, if you want to chain 2 and then put a double crochet back into there, that's perfectly fine as well. I do that on some of my work, but on this bottle carrier, it's not a big deal. It doesn't show. It's a very small thing. But on a hat, I usually will chain 2 and then actually use the stitch. So now we're going to do another round of double crochet. So when you get back around, you'll have 30 more double crochets. And I'll meet you back up there and we will continue. All right, so now I'm done with that second round of double crochet. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to do just like we did before. I'm going to slip stitch to the top of that chain 3 and pull that back through. And that's the bottom of your water bottle holder. So you've got your single crochet in the round circle. Then you've got a row of single crochet in the back loop only. And then you've got 2 rows of double crochet. And we're still at 30 stitches, so we haven't increased at all. So after you get that slip stitch into back to the beginning there, we're going to do chain 4s, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to be skipping 2 stitches. That's 1, 2, and so we're going to go into this stitch right here with the slip stitch. And then we're going to chain 4, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to skip 2, that's 1, 2, and go into this one right here with the slip stitch. Chain 4, 3, 4, skip 2, 1, 2, and go into this one with a slip stitch. Now you're going to do that all the way around until you get to the beginning, and then I'll meet you up and show you what we're going to do after that. All right, so now I'm almost back to the beginning. So I've got 2 stitches left here. So I'm going to chain 4, 3 and 4. Now we're going to skip those last 2, and now we're going to slip stitch into this space, back into that first chain 4 space. And now we're just going to do chain 4s all the way around, slip stitching into those spaces. So you're just going to keep doing that until we get 4 or 5 bars high. And I'll show you what I mean on that when I get back around here to the end. I'll show you how to count and how to stop these rounds. All right, now you're going to do your chain 4s and your slip stitch into that open space all the way around until you have 5 bars. And what I mean by that is you see right here in this row, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. Where we're going to do our chain 4s and slip stitch into that next open space until you have 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm going to slip stitch into this space. And how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And slip stitch into this space. And now look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 bars in this row, 5 little horizontal bars in this row, or I guess they're not really horizontal, but you know what I mean. Those chain 4 spaces made these little bars, and I work until I get 5 of those. Now you can make it a little shorter if you want to, like for a smaller bottle, and just do 4 bars. or you can add a row and make 6 if you have a really tall sports bottle. I find 5 bars is just the right number for most water bottles. Now from here, when you slip stitch into that space, you're going to chain up 3, and we're going to double crochet 3, and that chain up 3 does count as a double crochet, and we're going to make 3 double crochet in each space all the way around. So that's 4, 5, 6. Just make sure you have 3 double crochets in each one of these spaces all the way around, and when you get done you should have 30, and I'll meet you back up. All right, now I'm back to the beginning, and I've done 3 double crochet in each one of those spaces around, and I'm back here at the end, and I'm going to be making my last double crochet, and I'm going to slip stitch back to the top of this chain up 3 right here. And now we're going to repeat what we did down here on the bottom, and we're just going to chain up 3 and do another row of double crochet, and then we're going to repeat this whole section right here again on the top part. So what I want you to do now is I want you to double crochet another round of double crochet, slip stitch, and then start your chain 4s, skip 2 all the way around, and then repeat this whole mesh pattern right here above this row right here. All right, so just in case you forgot, do that last double crochet, slip stitch in the top of that chain 3, chain 4, skip 2, slip stitch into that next one, chain 4, skip 2, and then do that all the way around, and then chain 4 and go into those open spaces until you have those 5 bars. And now this time I really am going to meet you back up there at the end. All right, I'm all the way back here almost to the end. I've got one more row to do. So I wanted to mention a couple modifications. Sometimes I get requests for those really large Yeti size cups, the big tumblers. And in that case, what I sometimes do instead of chaining 4s is I chain 5s. I still chain 5s and skip 2s, but it makes it a little bit larger because the mesh expands a little bit more for those really wide, big tumbler cups. So you can do that. I also sometimes will half double crochet instead of double crochet if I'm working with a yarn that works up a little bit larger. This Caron Cake yarn works up, to me it works up a little bit smaller, but it is a 4-ply worsted weight yarn and a size I hook. So if you're using, so now back to the beginning, I got my 5 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you're using an I hook and a 4-ply yarn, this should work for you for most water bottles. But like I said, sometimes on these chain 4 spaces, I make them chain 5 spaces if I get a request for the huge mugs. And sometimes this middle round here especially, I'll half double crochet this instead of double crochet if I'm using a yarn that works up a little bit larger. So now that we're back to the beginning, we're going to do just what we did before on the bottom, where we chain up 3 and we make 3 double crochets in each space around. So when you get done, you're still at 30. You have 30 double crochets all the way around. So do this row in double crochet, join with a slip stitch, chain up 3, and then do a second row of either double crochet, or what I like to do on that last row is half double crochet, and I'll come back to you when I get there. Right. Here I am back at the beginning. I finished my last double crochet, and I got a slip stitch to the top of that chain up 3. Now in this last round, I like to do a half double crochet instead of a double crochet. I think it looks a little bit neater and more finished. So I'm just going to chain up 1, and I'm going to half double crochet back into that chain 3. And now I'm going to half double crochet all the way around. We're still at 30. We haven't done any increases. So just make 1 half double crochet in every double crochet all the way around. And while I'm doing this round, I will say that these are very popular for me on Etsy for custom orders for different colors. They work up really fabulous using the cake yarns because you get those slight color changes, or sometimes, depending on your cake, a big color change if it's one of those cakes that is very different colored. And they're really popular, I think, at craft fairs and music festivals if you sell at any of those places. And the holidays. These are good stocking stuffers. And if you get the pattern down in your head and you just bust them out, you can do this in like 20 or 30 minutes at most. So you can get quite a few of these done in a day. So we're coming back around here, and when we get back around to the beginning, we're just going to join that with a slip stitch. So we're going to go right there into that one right there with a slip stitch and pull up that. Now because we have 30 all the way around, we have 15. We're going to have 15 on each side for our strap. So count the one you're in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And after this 15th one right here, you're going to slip your hook back into that one right there. That's the next one. That'll be 16. And this is the way I like to make my strap. It doesn't get twisted, and then I make sure I put in exactly the right one. And now from here, I'm going to chain up 175. And you see how I've got my hook through that hole that I'm going to be pulling it through. And that keeps your chain from getting twisted. And I found that 175 chains is just the right to make a hip length strap. So after I chain up 175, I'm going to come back to you and show you how to pull that back through. All right, here I am almost at the end. I have 5 more chains. So I'm going to do 5 more chains. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you don't have to worry at all if you've done this technique where you slipped your hook into that 16th chain from the opposite side and you've done your chains. You don't have to worry about it being twisted because that's what you do this for. And then you just pull that straight through there. And then I like to chain up 1. And on this first chain right here, well, I guess it'll be chain 175, you're going to make a half double crochet back in there. I like to do a half double crochet first. It's a nice smooth transition on the strap. And now for every chain all the way across until you get to the last one, you're just going to make a double crochet all the way down that 175 chain strap that you just made. So put a double crochet in each chain all the way down until you get to the very last chain, and that very last chain is going to have a half double crochet in it, and I'll meet you back up when I get to that one. All right, here I am down at the end of the strap. I have 2 chains left, so I'm going to make a double crochet, and now this last chain is going to get a half double crochet. I like to have that smooth transition from the strap to the actual bottle holder. So now what we're going to do, this is the top of our carrier, and so this is the stitch and the chain up space that my chain is coming out of. And this is the stitch just after it, and this is the stitch just before it. I like to anchor my chain strap down to the actual water bottle bag part. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to skip this stitch that the chain up is coming out of. And we're going to go into this next space here for a slip stitch. And I like to slip stitch all the way around, especially since I just got this fun color change on the strap. I'm going to slip stitch all the way around to bring that color change around the top of the bottle. I think it's really fun. It makes an extra little kind of a decorative element at the top of your little water bottle carrier when you get it all done. So just slip stitch around there till you get back to this side. Now for each strap, you're going to be slip stitching a total of 3 crochets. So let's first put this down and make sure I'm not going to be slip stitching the handle the wrong side. So make sure your handle's not twisted after you get back to the beginning. So this is the way your handle's going to connect to the bag. And so you can see here you've got this stitch here. Right here is where our chain up is coming out of our strap, and you've got this stitch here to the left of it, or the right, and then you've got this stitch here to the other side. And each of these 3 stitches is going to get a slip stitch that anchors this handle back to the bag, or the strap. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to go into the stitch to the right of your strap, and you're going to slip stitch, catch that bag. I almost didn't do that. So after you go into that stitch, catch a piece of the strap here, and then pull that through. All the way through and all the way through. Now you're going to go slip stitch into this stitch that has the handle or the strap. Slip stitch into there. And now on this other side, this left side of the strap, you're going to go into the space, and now you're going to kind of just turn your hooker a little bit so you can get a piece of that strap right there. Now this part is optional, but I like to secure the strap really well to the actual bag part. And now we're going to slip stitch back through. This part's a little tricky because you just pulled that kind of weird. All right, there. So now what that does is that anchors that strap really good to the actual bag across 3 stitches instead of just 1. And I'll show you again when we get back around here to the other side. Now you'll have to pull from underneath because we're on the opposite side of the bag. So slip stitch around. There you go, all the way around. And just remember, each strap, each side of the strap is going to get slip stitched down on 3 stitches. The one that it's in, the one before, and then the one after. And when we started the first strap, we already did the one after. So the one before right here, so this is my chain up space in my stitch, and then this is the one before. So now when we go into this space, we're going to just grab a piece of that strap. It doesn't really matter where, just grab somewhere on that. Pull through, and pull through. And then go into the actual stitch where the strap is and pull through. Right there, and slip stitch through. And now go back into the first slip stitch there to finish it, and then have to pull back under that strap, slip stitch through. Now you're going to cut your yarn and then just pull that through, all the way through, and then you can go back and tie off this piece and weave it into the end, to the inside. All right, and that is your water bottle carrier. And I love how the color changes for these cake yarns really make these pop. They're really fun. Thank you for joining me in my crochet water bottle carrier at the Burgundy Basket.